Hey, welcome back to Sandy's Insight Part 2, okay? So I'm just gonna go back into what I was in. Like I said, please watch Part 1 so you can understand Part 2, all right? So, you breathe it in. It brews into the lungs through breathing. The spores enter the lungs and develops as COVID-19. 19, the reason I feel like 19 was attached to it, because it actually officially started in 2019. Then people started stressing out. They stressed from fear. The problem with fear, it's the fear of the unknown. So then, when we actually fear the unknown, we're chaining ourselves to, and we're binding ourselves. So you have to let the fear of the unknown go. But anyhow, particles from the air you breathe into the lungs, it festers from there. So, like I said, being worldwide, because some people weren't affected like others. And there's truth to that, because you're looking right at me. I never did have COVID, ever. And I was right by it in a few situations with people near me, loved ones, one in passing. So they can't tell me that it was the 6 feet rule or the mask. That was some BS. So anyways, and then this aggravated me because, again, this happened to my loved one. So the answer wasn't to put people on life support or machines, because it suppressed the oxygen in their lungs, allowing people to die versus giving them oxygen. So if they would, and again, I'm not blaming anybody as far as the nurses or the hospitals, but they did get paid off, because I seen that with my own loved one. There was a check that came. So, that I seen firsthand. So that pissed me off, if we want to be clear. So again, people should have been on oxygen versus being on machines, because that suppressed the oxygen in their lung, and actually a lot of them passed away, unfortunately, because of that. So, but also, if you did have the virus or any virus, what happens is your body will build up antibodies to help its natural way for the body to heal and recover. So antibodies are a good thing. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Even if you were bitten by a snake, for heaven's sakes, they use venom and antibodies from poisonous snakes that gather, and they mix it, with blood, as far as that, and that's where antibodies come in. So please don't let people tell you antibodies are no good, because they come from your own body. Yes, maybe some have more than others, and they don't disappear as fast as doctors tell you. That's a lie. So anyways, I'm going to go back. I'm going to take you back in time to a city, the city of Pompeii in Italy. It was Mount Vesuvius, okay? The volcano, at that time, it gave signs, warning signs. No one was paying attention to. It gave multiple warning signs. And again, nobody was paying attention. They were living their life, doing their business, and doing what they got to do. So then it exploded. Boom. And a massive eruption occurred, releasing sulfur dioxide of hot gases into the atmosphere from the explosion, which killed the whole city and mummified the bodies of the whole city of Pompeii. Everyone choked and suffocated to death, unfortunately, because it was a major explosion and it was the sulfur dioxide. So truth be told, what was this, the experiment about? It was about money. The vaccines made a lot of money worldwide, millions and billions at your expense. Population control. You hear a lot of chatter about that one, possibly to see what's coming in the future. So population control and experimenting again on the people. It was about control. I don't know if you've heard the term. It actually is in Eminem's. I remember Eminem, the music rapper there. He had rapped, and this actually was in one of his. It's been in movies as well. It's called The New World Order. It's in one of his songs that he released years ago. So that term, we're all gearing up for the New World Order. Woo! So anyways, the CDC controlled the narrative regarding the whole world putting guidelines in place, because prior to COVID, you didn't hear about no CDC. Now they're, well known. So the bottom line, money, cha-ching, power goes to people's head, and control. So there you go. Those were your three main reasons why, like I said, certain people, and it affected all of us. It was money, control, and power, whether you like it or not, because you're divided and you're distracted. One big giant experiment. So in November 2019 and December 2019, here on the West Coast as well as the East Coast in the state of Florida, United States, there is a burning sensation concerning your eyes and your throat. I worked on the beach, so I personally witnessed this on the beach. By March 2020, now COVID-19 was declared. So that doesn't add up. We were told we had some funny red tide, which I grew up on the west coast of Florida. We always had red tide, and I ran down the beach as an athlete, and you just got itchy like sea lice, but you never had what happened in 2020. You didn't have that. It didn't exist. I kind of wonder why. So you decide. There were also many weather balloons besides planes when it came to cloud seeding. So weather balloons, there was all this stuff going on about weather balloons and, oh, they're from Chinese spies. Don't believe the BS, guys, because many aren't paying attention. And unfortunately, when you're not paying attention, it's going to be your demise. People are getting distracted and divided by politics and BS, point blank. So there's also, I'm gonna switch up subjects now, which is interesting as far as the Earth's concerned. Rivers, there's rivers drying up and water levels are changing drastically over the last several years in different places. You have the Euphrates River in the Bible. You have China, Asia. I don't know how to say it, so excuse me. It's Yangtze River. It's Yangtze River. You also had the Mississippi that played a major role. It's been drying up. Water levels been changing over the years, which here in the United States, the state of Mississippi, it goes all the way to Chicago, and that's how we move our grain. So again, you have inflation as well, and they have to figure out different ways to move the grain, and there's not as much different climates issues. You also have the Rhine River in Tibur, the Tibur River, and as many, as well as other rivers. So another fun fact for you. Are you aware the state of California and here in the US, wealthy people own the rights to the water passage? Isn't that a shame? Is why possibly, I don't know much about the California fires that just occurred, but that could have played a role. Their reservoirs were dried up. But that's a shame because, you have people with money trying to control the water system. How? When it's for all the states out west, So that's a shame. But it's true. It happened, and it's real. So Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, that's how I see her. She's shaking more and more in many places around the globe. If you do want to keep track of it, I would recommend Volcano Discovery. It's a really good one. You'll see earthquakes, you'll see volcanoes, you'll see all kinds of stuff, as well as USGS. But USGS does downgrade some earthquakes and stuff like that, and sometimes they'll miss a few, versus Volcano Discovery is a very good site to pay attention to. And then we have the Earth, Mother Earth herself, the core. Her core is changing, her inner core is changing, so her outer core is changing. It's happening now, which it changes the tectonic plates. They're shifting along with the magnetic poles are flipping. So what's happening now is a major event of the pole shifts, and it happens, I don't even know, every however thousands of years it occurs. So even fracking to drill oil, it plays a role. So remember, a small earthquake can trigger a big one. They just had a large one in the Caribbean Sea a few days ago. You didn't hear nothing about. But again, if you do research, you will. So each time the magnetic poles, they actually change every however many thousands of years. The continents, what happens with the continents, the whole world was whole. So each time this happens, it splits apart. So we're actually going to see that most likely in our lifetime. I don't care what a scientist tells you. So, like the United States, maybe the islands of the United States, because there's going to be a big crack when it, like I said, this takes place, and it's taking place in the continent of Africa as well as other places. So it is happening now, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. Do I believe that it's climate change? No. For me, climate change happened. It's a possible ploy to make money, because we're taught and we listen to what we hear. There was a forest found in the state of Colorado, higher up in elevation. It's all dead now, but that shows that the earth was actually warmer one time before, higher up in a higher elevation than it is actually now. So again, please do your own research. Then we have the Madrid Fault, which a lot of people don't know what that is. Well, guess what? The Madrid Fault is a big fault line right here in the United States, in the middle. And it is going to play a major role in a catastrophic event. It's starting to wake up. So please pay attention. And that's Missouri, and like I said, the Midwest, the middle of our country will be greatly affected. But my only problem with that, you have nuclear power plants. So it's going to be catastrophic when it blows, because we've not done nothing to get rid of the nuclear power plants, so it's going to talk, and when it does happen, it will contaminate everything from the water to the food to everything. And that's where a lot of stuff comes from here in this country versus trade and shipping across the world. So the Madrid Fault Line and the San Andreas Fault Line, you're probably more aware of, which, as well as other fault lines and dormant volcanoes, will play a role. Ley lines. I don't know if you're familiar with ley lines. Ley lines are freaking awesome. They're lines that connect important places such as prehistoric sites and monuments. But to me, they hold important energy frequencies. They do. So there's a lot of sites. To give you an example, Egypt, the pyramids, they are built precisely on an area that, how did they know that if they didn't have help? So it was quite interesting. So then I'm going to get into the supervolcano here momentarily, which we have one right in our backyard in the United States. He or she, however you want to call it, Yellowstone is a supervolcano. So what I want you to know, never say never, because you don't know. People keep talking about, oh, it's not going to happen in our lifetime. You don't know that. There are gifted individuals here that are gifted, that do understand spirit versus just being here on this planet. So there are true prophets. And again, there's a lot of false copycats, but one day they will be corrected. You better believe it. You might not get to see it. So if you're nasty and what you carry, a mean heart, I mean, it is Valentine's Day today, so I hope nobody has a mean heart, but you carry a rock coal, heart, you will be corrected. And you will, you harm and injure people, you will go first before others. Mark my words, because it'll happen. All right? So, all right, before I get into Yellowstone in the next segment, stay tuned, because that wraps up part 2. All right. Peace out. Sharing the love. Bye.